king, sawest, and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. His breast and arms of silver, thighs of brass, legs of iron. Thou sawest till that a stone cut out without hands. This is the dream, and I will tell the interpretation thereof.
Could indeed a comet or meteor collide with Earth and obliterate life on our planet? Will unparalleled natural disasters such as catastrophic earthquakes or floods destroy entire cities or countries? Will a breakdown in our computer system cause an abrupt ending to civilization as we know it? Or will mankind simply destroy itself? Ethnic cleansing, new wars, kids killing kids, countries on the verge of economic collapse, breakthroughs in cloning and genetic engineering, new killer diseases with no known cures, widespread destruction and loss of life caused by radically changing weather patterns, rises in domestic and international terrorism, to name a few. And while the internet promises to make life easier by connecting you with millions of people the world over, could it be the undoing of your family and privacy? According to surveys, nearly 6 in 10 Americans believe the world will come to an end or be destroyed sometime in the future. 49% believe there will be an antichrist, and 44% believe there will be a final Battle of Armageddon. One of the simplest of the prophet Daniel's prophecies is his interpretation of King Nebuchadnezzar's dream. It is one of the most amazing prophecies ever given to man. The king's dream was of a great image with a head of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Then a stone, cut out without hands, smote the image on its feet. The image crumbled into dust and was blown away by the wind. But the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Daniel himself told King Nebuchadnezzar,
"You are this head of gold."
Babylon was known as the Golden City in ancient times, and like the head, the Babylonians were great thinkers, knowing astronomy, astrology, and science. Just as the image had 2 arms, the next world empire was an alliance of the Medes and the Persians, who conquered Babylon in 538 BC. They were very clever with their hands, being experts at handicrafts and with building. The Medo-Persian Empire was conquered in 333 BC by Greece, who God likened to the belly of the image. The people of the Greek Empire were known to be hedonistic pleasure seekers, symbolized here by the belly or the desires of the flesh. Rome was the next world empire, symbolized by the image's 2 legs of iron. Rome was the strongest of the world empires, ruling the world with an iron fist. Like 2 legs, it was divided into an Eastern and Western empire. Also like a pair of legs, the Romans were great on marching. The legs are the longest part of the image, and of all the world's empires, Rome ruled the longest, for nearly 1,000 years. Since Rome, the world has been divided into various other empires, but none strong enough to rule the whole known world of its time. After the sacking of Jerusalem by the Romans in 70 AD, the Jewish people were scattered into every nation on the face of the earth, the diaspora prophesied by Moses in the book of Leviticus.
"And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste.
For almost 1900 years, they held on to the many prophecies in the sacred writings of the Old Testament that they would one day return. Then, in 1099, the European Crusaders took Jerusalem and established a feudal kingdom that lasted until 1291, when the Europeans were expelled by the Egyptians. In 1516, Palestine became part of the Turkish Ottoman Empire for 600 years, until the British captured it in 1918, at the end of World War I. At the gate of the Tower of the Citadel of David, General Allenby proclaimed victory on behalf of the British and Allied forces. On May the 14th, 1948, Israel was reborn as a nation, the fulfillment of numerous Old Testament prophecies, one of which states,
"And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth."
The formation of Israel as a state holds great significance for Jews and Christians alike. Enter the Antichrist, a politically brilliant and charismatic personality prophesied of in the Bible, who rescues the world from near collapse due to desperate social and economic problems yet to occur. This tactful genius accomplishes the unbelievable feat of world peace, and, according to Bible prophecy, becomes the adoration of the whole world. Daniel has covered the major kingdoms or empires of the world, starting with Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar's own kingdom. One last section of the image representation of world history remains.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
Daniel later explains to us that these 10 toes symbolize 10 kings that give their allegiance and backing to the Antichrist for a time. Iron representing the hard dictatorial governments, and clay, the soft democratic ones. And as the iron does not mix with clay, so these two ideologies will be opposing governments.
He shall come in peaceably, and obtain the kingdom by flatteries.
He solves the problems of the Middle East and signs a 7-year peace accord or covenant that gives Jews, Muslims, and Christians equal rights to the old city of Jerusalem and the temple area. Part of this accord allows the Jews to rebuild their temple. How he solves the problem of where it is to be built is still a mystery, though scriptures indicate that he will find a way. Having people's trust and adoration after 42 months or 3.5 years into his reign, he abruptly breaks his peace covenant with Israel and invades from the north, stopping the temple worship and revealing his true character and intentions. Prophecy indicates that it is at this time that this world leader becomes possessed of Satan and declares himself God. Prophecy tells us,
"The man of sin shall be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be.